Bonehead?
Hey, do you know about the U.S.?
You wish.
Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution?
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
learn about the USA.
No. How long have you been on the department, right? A year? Who's your sergeant?
Tonight, he's out there at the intersection, but you don't want to talk to him.
But what's his name, though?
Sergeant Shaw.
Shaw? Sergeant Shaw? I don't want to talk to him?
No,
Why not?
he's got a lot on his mind right now. He's very busy.
A lot on his mind?
Yep. It's a busy night, man.
It's a busy night. Lots to coordinate.
Yep.
Sergeant Shaw, 3540.
Yep, Sergeant.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm very good, sir. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Have a nice night, sir.
Have a nice night.
Yes, sir. Have a nice night.
Thank you. I heard that you had a lot on your mind.
Sir, I don't want to have a conversation with you. You're welcome to hang out here all night. You're welcome to film me all night. I don't care, but I don't want to talk to you.
You don't want to talk?
No, I don't. Have a nice night.
Have a nice night. Are you feeling all right?
You don't listen, do you?
Sergeant Shaw has a temper. I was warned about Sergeant Shaw. He has a definite temper. Is this your car?
You're going to get harassed. You need to walk away from me, sir.
I don't think so, Sergeant.
Don't follow me.
Everything you do on the taxpayer dime is a matter of public interest. And don't ever try and pull that card with me, Sergeant. Don't ever.
I didn't want to talk to you. That's why I walked away. Now you're being rude.
Well, rude, schmood. The press is sometimes considered rude. And I got news for you, Sergeant. When you pull somebody over on the side of the road, they might think you're being rude. I will have a nice night, but you don't get to decide when you're going to engage and disengage from one of the people.
Yeah, I do. This is how it happens.
You're not detained, but you're not free to go either. See, that's a temper right there. That's what you don't want to have, Sanchez.
Just leave the Sarge alone, all right?
The Sarge alone, I was warned about the Sarge. I came to find the Sarge because I heard that he's got a lot on his mind. And you know what, Sanchez? Sanchez, 8789. He does have a lot on his mind. Sergeant Shaw.
Yes, sir.
I was detained last night
Okay.
by Sanchez. I don't think he meant to detain me, but he told me, you know, when I don't know if you know, I'm sure you know the call, where some guy ran at him with a knife. He pulled his gun last night about 3-something. Okay. And I came up. He had the guy in cuffs already sitting against the car, and he told me to stop, right? And I said, can I go backwards? And he said, stay there, right? Which means I was not free to go. But I'm not complaining, but I just am, you know, I'm never trying to get anybody in trouble, right?
All right.
But just some
I'm going
trading.
to fix this really quickly right now. I'm going to make this official. No one has ever told you you can't film. How close you get is dictated by the officer who is on the call. You don't have a right to step up wherever you think you may want to. If the officer is uncomfortable with how close you are, he can tell you to stop and back up. If you don't back up, you may be arrested. You can argue it in court if you want, but you have been pushing the limits. And I've got multiple complaints in my office for the way you're interacting with them. Feel free to film. It's your First Amendment right. We're not going to tell you to stop. But how close you get to the officers is dictated by the officer's comfort level, not yours. If he tells you to back up, I would suggest backing up or you may get arrested. You can argue it in court later, but you may be arrested. Okay? You seem to think that you have a free-for-all to get as close as you want to on a case or a call. That's not correct, sir. You don't have the freedom to just do whatever you want to in terms of a call. The officer dictates who's allowed inside his perimeter, not you.
That
If
is
he tells
correct.
you to back up, then you need to back up. If he tells you to stop, it's because you got too close to the call. He wasn't detaining you. He was telling you that you weren't close enough. I've already spoken to the officer about it. So your definitions and semantics that we keep playing about whether you were detained or not, no, it's not going to play anymore. If they illegally detain you, I will fix that problem. However, telling you to back up or to get out of their call space, that's perfectly within their rights as peace officers. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but that's the way the cow ate the cabbage.
You have no arguments with me there.
Okay, so then stop coming up and telling me every little thing has gone wrong.
This is not a little thing.
It is a little thing. You didn't like the way you were talked to and told that you were too close to the call.
No.
So you want to come find a supervisor all night long. We're having to stop everything that we're doing and trying to effectively supervise our officers because you keep calling for a supervisor over things where officers haven't done anything wrong because you think they violated your rights.
That's right, I do.
Well, the phone number is 512-974-9090. That's the Office of Police Oversight. You are welcome to call them and file a complaint anytime that you wish. So far, every supervisor that I've talked to that has spoken to you has said that you're talking to them has not resulted in the officer doing anything wrong. So it's the boy quiet wolf kind of scenario. Pretty soon it's going to be annoying when we have to keep coming out and listening to you give false accusations at officers. Tonight you accosted Officer Schramm on Congress for doing nothing
Did
wrong.
you say accosted?
You went up and were all yelling at him about crossing the double yellow line. For your information, sir, Section 545 of the Transportation Code says absolutely nothing about turning or U-turns across the double yellow line. You're not allowed to cross it to pass. So he did absolutely nothing wrong except you wanted to argue the point. That's all you want to do is have a discussion that you want to turn into a friggin' debate. We don't have time for it. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I no longer want to talk to you about it. I don't want to have any conversations with you, so if it's not an official complaint where I have to officially take official action on it, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're welcome to film me, you're welcome to stand close by me. If you get too close, I will tell you to back up, but I don't want to have any more personal conversations with you because you appear to have an agenda that we don't want to have to deal with. You're free to film. You're free to walk around 6th Street. But stop accosting us. You are accosting us.
What is accosting?
You're coming up and you're sticking your camera in officers' faces at a very close range and asking questions that they don't want to have to answer. If you don't need necessarily police interference or help on anything particular problem, we don't want to talk to you. The officers know your rights. They're not going to violate them, and they're going to protect your rights, as Officer Zoli did the other night when he told somebody else that he couldn't talk to you.
He sure did.
But when we're just standing here watching the crowd, not doing anything, it's a little annoying to have a camera shoved in your face all night. Now, I'm not saying that you're not authorized to do it or allowed to do it by your rights under the First Amendment. Fantastic. But it's a little annoying.
It is.
So it is what it is. So I've already officially told you, unless you have a legitimate police concern where I have to take official action as a supervisor, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, how would we know if you have to take an official
So then
action?
you have to come up and ask me, and I'm going to ask you what I can do to help you. And if it's not an official problem where I have to take action, I'm going to tell you I don't want to talk to you, and I'm going to walk away. If it's something that I need to take care of business, I'm a professional, and I will take care of it in a professional manner. But I don't want to talk to you anymore.
So, did you watch the body cam footage from last night? I mean, you're saying you talked to the officer.
I will go and review it for you. And if he did anything wrong, I will correct it. You said you didn't want to file a complaint.
I don't. I wanted to say there's a difference between saying don't come any closer and stay still.
You know what? I'm not even going to argue the point with you. You said you didn't want to file a complaint. So unless you're filing a formal complaint that I need to investigate, we're done talking about it. The officer had a man with a knife. He pulled his gun and he told the man to get down. He complied. He took him into custody with no harm to anybody. What exactly happened? I'm not going to give you a press brief every time my officers take action. It's that simple.
All right.
So it's simple. Unless I can officially help you in my capacity as a police officer and as a sergeant of the Austin Police Department, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
So the people don't have the right to redress their government
I'm telling you,
for
if I don't
grievances?
help you in a official manner as a supervisor or a police officer for the city of Austin, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm not required by any law, statute, or policy to have a personal conversation with you.
That's right.
And you can't make me.
I can't.
So, we're done talking, sir. Have a pleasant evening.
Well, see, that is a definite hot temper. You know? That's a definite temper we got here. Absolutely. we'll have to keep the pressure on Shaw because I finally got to him, you know. That's the truth right there. That's the truth. That's what we're dealing with is a drill sergeant. Yeah, Sergeant Shaw, how are you doing tonight?
Very good, sir. What can I do for you?
All right. Well, first off, the first night, you know, I'd rather start over.
I'm here to talk about Officer Zoli. That's what you wanted to talk to me about.
All right, yeah. His understanding is that is considered part of the roadway.
It is part of the roadway, sir. It is for traveling portion of the.
Are you going to let me talk? Because you've already determined
Go ahead, sir,
yourself.
speak.
But the definition of a roadway, and I've studied this, is the area that is restricted to vehicular traffic. Now that is a parking area, and there are cars there, okay, and it was blocked off, right? And I was just trying to exercise the right of the press, right, in order to film, you know? So I wasn't obstructing traffic or blocking anything like that, right? Anybody, if they're parked there, they can walk out and get in the passenger side of their car and not be in the roadway, you see? And so that is definitely not part of the roadway. That's brick, and that's asphalt. The roadway is defined as the area between the lines.
Is there a question for me, sir?
Yeah, well, I mean, are you willing to pull out the code book and let's take a look and make sure?
I'm asking you if there's a question for me, sir.
Well, I want him to know that that is not part of the roadway.
Okay.
And you seem to think it
there
is.
Vehicles on that portion of the property?
There are right now.
Okay, so it is being used by vehicles, correct?
To park, not to drive.
Well, they have to drive to get there, do they not?
Well, yes, but it's not for
Okay,
through
so we're playing
traffic.
semantics. The officers
And the
ask you
people,
to
when they
step
get
down
out of the
roadway.
cars,
Okay.
they have to walk in it, right?
They are to exit the roadway as quickly as possible.
Well, I mean, people can stand there, and they can stand next to their car, and they can put stuff in it, and they can take their time. Okay? It's not really a rush, see? That is not the roadway. And that's why these terms have definitions in the Texas Transportation Code.
Again, sir, is there a question for me?
Yeah, the question is are you willing to pull out the code book so that
Sir,
we
I'm
can
not
get a
gonna pull that code book.
determination? You're not.
It is a parking space, you are correct, but it is
Yeah.
also used by vehicles. Do you have a vehicle in that parking space?
No, I don't.
Then the officer asked you to step out of the roadway. It is used by vehicles.
He did,
We're
but
playing semantics, sir.
No,
it is used
the
by
different-
vehicles. It is part of the roadway.
you call semantics my rights versus privileges.
He asked you to
Right.
get out of the roadway, sir. What's so hard about it?
Because he interfered with the free press.
Okay, do you have your press credentials, sir?
Press credentials?
Yes, sir.
Who issues press credentials?
Most people who are part of the legitimate press have press credentials.
No.
Now, you have a
If you
freedom-
want my press credentials, you can go to the Library of Congress and you can get the First Amendment of the United States. Because
I'm not
that
for a
says
second doubting that
all
you
the
have a First
people,
Amendment privilege, sir.
all the people, no, a privilege, a First
It's a
Amendment
right, sir.
privilege,
I'm aware of that. I
but you
misspoke.
just
It is
called it
right.
a, and
You're
that's
here to
the,
have an argument with me, sir. I'm not here to argue with me. You haven't asked me a question yet. I disagree with you on whether or not that's part of the roadway or not.
well, it's not up for a debate. It's not an opinion.
yes, you
You're
are,
saying you
sir.
disagree, and these terms are defined very clearly in the Texas
It
Transportation
is
Code.
used by vehicles, therefore it is part of the roadway. This is the sidewalk, that is part of the roadway.
You cannot give somebody a ticket for exiting their car.
Did anybody issue him a citation?
No,
Did
but
anybody threaten you with you a citation?
yes, he did. He said he would write me a citation for being in the roadway. Then why would I have to get out? Why are you barking unlawful orders? What law says I can't be there? What law?
The Texas Penal Code, the Transportation
What
Code.
code? What code?
It's the Texas Transportation
code?
I just answered your question.
No, the Texas Transportation Code is a book of many codes.
Yes.
Which code
Give me
specifically?
2 minutes and I'll give you the code.
All right, thank you.
Sections covered, sir. Section 552.005B and 552.006. That's the exit
All right.
code.
All right, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure that I've already looked at these exact codes.
Sections covered, sir. Section 552.005B and 552.006. That's the exit
All right.
code.
All right, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure that I've already looked at these exact codes.
Is there anything else I can do to help you, sir?
Well, you could not be rude.
I'm not being rude. I'm asking you a question.
I know. Is that part of your policy to say that? Like, does that...
Sir, I have other pressing matters that I have to take care of. Is there
Pressing?
anything else? Yes, sir. Pressing.
You
Is there
shouldn't be
anything else I-
pressing. You don't have a right to press.
Sir, Sir, is there
You don't
anything
have a
else
right to press, so you have no
Again,
pressing
I'm
matters.
asking you one more time. Is there
All
anything
right.
else I can help you with?
All right, you have a good night, Sean.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
I
Have a nice
appreciate it. Hey, well, there's one more thing.
Yes, sir.
You can give that guy hell for making you come down here and deal with me.
I'm not going to give my officers hell. This is my job.
Oh, so you've already decided. You're not going to give him hell. Even when I
If
look these
correction
up
is
and find out
necessary,
that you're
I will
both
give
wrong.
correction where necessary.
All right,
but I
here's
don't
your
give my
lieutenant.
officers hell. It's a rude way to supervise.
All right, you're right. You got me on that one. You got
I
me
don't
on.
have you.
Then
I
why
don't
are you
have you,
giving
sir.
me hell?
I'm not giving you hell, sir.
That-
I'm talking and having a conversation with you. It's that simple.
This doesn't sound like it. It
You
sounds
like
like
to
a
have
lot of
personal
hostility.
conversations with people that told you you didn't want to. So we'll talk about last week.
Who's your lieutenant?
My lieutenant's not here, sir.
So who is he?
It's Lieutenant Chris Waldo.
Chris Waldo?
Waldo, yes, sir.
How do you-
G-W-A-L-D-O.
GWALDO. All right. You said talk about last week?
Yeah.
All right.
You wanted to talk to me about personal things, sir. I'm not required by any law, any statute, or any policy to require to have a personal conversation with you. When you
you're not.
first walked up, I asked you very plainly, is there something I can help you with?
Yeah.
Your response was no. Therefore, your interaction with the police is over. I don't have to stand there and talk to you and have a private conversation with you. You were
Right.
asking me personal questions that, frankly, were none of your business. So I chose to walk away from you, and then you followed me, which was quite rude. And when you wanted to continue having a conversation, I said I didn't want to talk to you, so I left, being the bigger person. Yet you wanted to scream at me as I walked away that I was not free to leave. I was free to leave, just as you are now. Now, I have more pressing things to go take care of, which I'm going to go do now. You have a blessed evening, sir.
So you're not going to let me rebut that?
No, sir, I'm not.
Going to different bars.
You're free to leave. I just want to see which getaway vehicle you're driving.
Driving 7547, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. You have a good night, Shaw. Watch out for the high horses. There's Arnold and Bethel. Arnold's on the far side, bringing up the rear. Bringing up the rear. Everybody says you're wrong, Sergeant. Everybody says you're wrong. Oh, get real. Get real.
Okay,
I'm
I just
plenty
asked you to
far
give me a
enough
little
away.
bit of space. I
You
gave
wanna
you a
start a
lawful order to
protest?
back up.
Not even a gate.
All right.
Thank you.
Here's the fucking thing, Valdez, you stupid ass motherfucker.
Thank you.
Don't fight with the First Amendment.
Getting aggressive
And you
with my
want to
officers.
come in?
Back up.
I
Back
did.
up.
I
Back
did.
up.
I did. I complied. And now he's facing a protest from the First Amendment because the First Amendment will beat the Ninth Amendment any day of the week. And if you want to stand in the way of your fucking officer,
because you're violent now.
no, I'm not violent. I can protest. I can protest. I have never touched one of your. I moved back. I complied. He gave me a
You have a
lawful
violent
order.
demeanor, sir. I will not allow
Bullshit.
you to approach my officers anymore.
Bullshit. Bullshit. You're lying now, Sergeant. You're lying. You're facing the First Amendment
I warned you the
protest.
other night
And if
when
you
you
have a
told to
problem
back
with
up,
a
you had to do
protest,
so or you may be
that's it.
arrested.
I did back up. I complied. And now I'm protesting, which is my
Outstanding.
First Amendment
And you
right
have
to
every
do.
right, and I haven't
And
told
you
you to
cannot
stop that.
convert it into a crime such as being violent. I can be loud, phosphorus. I can say things you don't like. That's just too
I never said
fucking
you
bad,
could.
Sergeant.
I never
That's
said
just
you
too
could.
fucking bad. But you say it's violent
You will
now?
not approach
That's
my
a
officers too
conversion
close
into a
anymore.
crime.
I'm giving
I
you
can
a last
go
warning.
wherever I
You
need to
will not
go.
get too close to my officers.
I
You
will not
one
commit
time,
any
and then
crime.
You will be arrested. It's
I will
that
not
simple.
commit. What law is that?
It's
what
not
law?
interferes with public duties. If you get too close and you're told to back up one more time, you will be arrested for interference. It's a physical act. Not, I can care less about you screaming. You can scream all you want. The law allows you to do that, and I'm aware of that. But your physical presence, when it distracts my officers from what they're doing, that physical act alone is enough to arrest you for 3815 of the Penal Code. It interferes with public duties. So unless you want to go to jail, you better keep a safe distance. That's your one warning tonight. I know the law. I've been doing this for 2 decades. I'm not going to get in trouble. You're going to go to jail. It's that simple. Stay back, safe distance from my officers. You will get no more warnings. You will go to jail. Am I clear?
No.
I know the law and I will enforce it. That means you will go to jail.
Are you saying that I've interfered before?
You are interfering.
Are you saying I have ever interfered
We're
in the
done
past?
arguing.
Ever? One
We're done
time?
arguing.
Have I
Move
ever
on.
put an impediment in between
We're
you
done
or
arguing.
any of
Give
your
me more.
officers' duty. Ever once.
Bye.
Ever once. Have I ever once? That was a smart move, Floyd. Oh, thank God.
Realize by breaking the person curse. Yeah. Right.